Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
Like expenses, revenues can also be accrued before the payment is received, in the same period the payment is received, or after the payment is received. If we take the example of a customer who pays you for goods or services that are immediately rendered, then the entry is a simple debit to the cash or checking asset account and a credit to the appropriate income account or accounts. If one of the other two situations arises, then we must turn to the accrual principle to account for the revenue accurately. Let's take the prior example of prepaid rent. However, let's now examine this example from the perspective of the landlord versus the tenant. In this case, the payment is received before the revenue is recognized. So, assume that the property owner receives a prepayment of $6,000 for the next 6 months of rent from a tenant. The rent is $1,000 per month, and the revenue needs to be shown as being earned in the correct accounting period. In this case, the first entry is made when the cash is received. The debit is applied to cash for $6,000, and the credit is then applied to a liability account called something like deferred rent. Then, for the next 6 months, another journal entry is made that debits the deferred rent liability account for $1,000 and credits the rent income account for $1,000. In the accrual method, when a customer pays on credit and accepts an invoice, the revenue is still recognized at the time of sale versus when the invoice is paid. When this happens, as is often the case in business transactions, the amount of the sale debits an asset account called accounts receivable. We then recognize the revenue earned by crediting the appropriate income account or accounts for the amount of the sale. Later, when the customer remits their payment of the invoice, you create an entry that debits the cash or checking asset account for the payment amount and credits the accounts receivable account for the payment amount.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.